The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is in Phoenix, Arizona. He's convalescing there because he has a severe case of asthmatic bronchitis. But he is it's just an irritant. His physical condition is good.
Were you asking Mrs. Smith or Mrs. Green to introduce any legislation or anything to accomplish these?
No. I didn't ask for any legislation because as a Muslim who follows the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have analyzed most of the legislation that has been brought about in this country supposedly to solve the problem of black people. They've been legislating for the past 100 years, ever since the Emancipation Proclamation. And all of the legislating that they've done has never corrected or eliminated the race problem because, as a rule, there was too much hypocrisy involved in it. If the Emancipation Proclamation was designed to solve the race problem and afterwards we still have it, the 13th and 14th Amendments were designed to solve the race problem. The Supreme Court decision, desegregation decision, was supposed to solve the race problem. All of this legislation that has been put forth in the past hasn't solved our problem. And it hasn't solved it primarily because it was motivated by hypocrisy. When Kennedy was talking to these reporters yesterday, he didn't tell them that they should treat black people right because it is right to treat us right. He said that you better treat them right because if you don't, then the Muslims will spread. So, see, the motive is wrong. If he had said to treat black people right because it's wrong to treat them wrong, then he would have had the proper motive. But all of your politicians continue to say that if you don't correct the problem, the Muslims will spread, or if you don't correct the problem, the dark nations are looking upon us. And as long as the white man tries to correct this problem solely because the eyes of the dark world is upon him, then he is wrongly motivated. If the problem is wrong, correct it because it's wrong. Don't correct it just because someone is looking. Because even if you try and correct it and the others stop looking, as soon as they stop looking, you'll be practicing the same thing that you were practicing before they started looking.
Tell us something about your life, where you were born and how you got into this world and so forth.
Yes, I was born in Omaha. There's no mystery. I was born in Omaha, Nebraska, and grew up in Michigan, Massachusetts, and in New York, and went to prison as a Christian, I might emphasize. And after going to prison as a Christian and hearing the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in prison, I accepted them and was reformed, rehabilitated, and have come out of prison and have been trying to live an upright life in whatever community I happen to be. But the strange part is that when I was a criminal, I was more acceptable to white society and Christian society than I've been since becoming a Muslim, despite the fact that my behavior now is in accord with all laws. I am classified as, some very outrageous things, but I was never classified as the same things when I was running around involved in the gambling and the drug traffic and prostitution and other things. I was a respectable person in the community then, but I was in prison for breaking the law, for committing a crime, and I must emphasize that all of the crimes I committed as a Christian.
How long ago was that?
In 1945. In Massachusetts.
Mr. Minister, do you feel that no good can come out of cooperation between Negroes and whites in the United States?
Well, the cooperation that existed between whites and blacks brought about the Civil War, which supposedly was fought by the white liberals to solve the problem, and the problem still exists. The cooperation that existed between whites and blacks, white liberals and blacks, also brought about the so-called Emancipation Proclamation, and the problem is still unsolved. The cooperation of whites and blacks brought about the 13th and 14th Amendment, and the problem is still unsolved. The cooperation between whites and blacks brought about the Supreme Court desegregation decision, and the problem is still unsolved. In the last presidential election, the cooperation of Kennedy and the blacks brought about the election of Kennedy, and the problem is still unsolved. So I think that you will intelligently conclude that we are justified in being very cautious concerning the cooperation between whites and blacks based upon its final product or ultimate product. If cooperation between whites and blacks is going to produce some good, then good. But if this cooperation is not going to produce anything but hypocrisy and promises that are never fulfilled or promises that are never kept, then I think you will agree that we're justified in first developing some kind of cooperation among our own people. And this doesn't mean that we're anti-white or anti-anything. It only means that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches that our problem can best be solved by us. We ourselves can solve it if we'll get together among ourselves, among our own kind, and put forth intelligent efforts to do so. No white man is going to accept a black man into his society if that black man hasn't shown any ability to do anything for himself and his people in his own society. But when the black man is able to show that he can stand on his own feet and see for himself and think for himself and hear for himself and behave according to how he feels, then you find white people will begin to realize that black people are human, part of the human family the same as others. So what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is trying to do, instead of getting us involved in some kind of civil rights struggle or begging the white man for civil rights, which means acceptance into his society, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that we have to place emphasis upon the human aspect, that the black man has to be taught how to think, how to stand up, how to do the things for himself as a human being, not as a citizen. Once he proves that he's a human being, he's acceptable as a citizen in any society. But most whites don't even think blacks yet are part of the human family.
Why are you trying to make the black acceptable in white society?
We're not trying to make the black acceptable in white society. This is why whites think we teach hate. We're only interested in the black man being acceptable among his own people and, with each other and lifting himself up. We're not even concerned with the white society. We're concerned with the black society. Once the black society is standing on its own feet, the attitude of the white society, if it desires to do so, will automatically change. But you will never change the attitude of white society toward black society through any kind of legislation or trying to force it. It will never be done. It will be hypocritical, and it will only make matters worse, as it has made matters worse everywhere you've tried to do this by force.
Could you summarize briefly for us the meeting that you had in the Congress?
Well, I was invited to speak before an open or public hearing, which was ultimately changed to a private hearing, and I had a very open and objective discussion with Congresswoman Edith Green on the problems that stem from juvenile delinquency in this country, pointing out the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's analysis of the problem and also offering his suggestions for solutions to the problem. And I might add that my emphasis was placed upon the fact that we accept the religion of Islam as the only solution, that the religion of Islam reforms us of the evils that are usually characteristic or made characteristic by the white sociologists who analyze the social ills that abound in the Negro community. We are planning to set up schools. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad encourages us to set up schools in every state or city where we have mosques. But I want to correct you in saying a black Muslim school. We don't refer to ourselves as black Muslims. We refer to ourselves as Muslims. Black Muslim is a term that was made up by a Negro preacher down in Atlanta, Georgia, called Reverend Eric Lincoln. He's the one who named us black Muslims, and now the press uses that to project us as the black Muslims. We are black Muslims in the sense that black is an adjective, meaning we are black people who are Muslims because we believe in the religion of Islam. But we are not black Muslims in the sense that black, the B is capitalized and the adjectival noun, the adjective becomes an adjectival noun to which it is attached, to the word Muslim, making us the name of an organization with no religious connotation whatsoever. And when the press continues to do this, they make the white public think that we're just a group of black people who are using the name Muslim to identify an organization, which is incorrect and it's wrong to make the white public think this. We are black people who are Muslims because we believe in the religion of Islam, and we practice the principles of the religion of Islam. And the principles of the religion of Islam is what has cleaned us up, what has reformed us, what has rehabilitated us, and what has given us the incentive to stand on our own feet and solve our problems ourselves instead of depending upon white people to solve them for us. Well, as I said, we don't force ourselves upon anyone, and we never ask anyone to invite us to anything. Whoever invites us, whoever takes the initiative to invite us into anything, then we reserve the right to reject it or accept it. But we don't force ourselves into any issue. If we're invited, we'll either accept or reject. But we never will ask for a hearing.
Did Mrs. Green tell you why this open hearing was canceled?
No, Mrs. Green didn't tell me why the open hearing was canceled. Her secretary did point out to me that it was felt that with the Birmingham situation as hot as it is, it was felt by some sector, some segment of the power structure here in this city that an open hearing at this time would not be conducive to the best results. But I think that that's wrong. Anything that brings out facts is always conducive toward good results. The only time you get bad results is when you keep continuing to try and pull the rug over what's on the floor. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, if you want to know what's happening, you get our newspaper.